We continue our reading of Turn Your Eyes Upon Jesus, an invitation to spend a year with your best friend, a daily devotional by author George R. Knight. Today's reading, March 21, The Astonishing Jesus. And when Jesus finished these sayings, the crowds were astonished at his teaching, for he taught them as one who had authority, and not as their scribes. Matthew 7:28 and 29. Jesus is now ready for the next stage of his ministry. He's been filled with the Spirit at his baptism, has set his boundaries with Satan in the wilderness for the contest to come, has called his disciples, and now has finished preaching his inaugural sermon, in which he set forth in no uncertain terms the principles of his kingdom. Thus, he is ready to move into a wider ministry. But before examining his more extensive work, we should note that the crowds were astonished at his teaching. And why shouldn't they be? They knew him as an unlearned carpenter from a little village called Nazareth in Galilee. He was not a scribe or a Pharisee, but a commoner, a laborer. Jesus had not sat at the feet of Gamaliel or any other learned teacher. Rather, he was nothing but a rustic and lowly carpenter. But suddenly he bursts upon the scene, claiming the most astounding things from the beginning of his ministry. His arrival is a shock to the Jewish body politic. Look at his audacity in the manner of his teaching. Unlike the scribes, he did not recite long lists of quotations to make a point. To the contrary, he claimed to be the authority. I say unto you, was his style rather than so-and-so has said. And did you hear some of his claims? He says, I am come, not I was born. And where, his hearers are left to wonder, did he come from? Obviously, from the one he so personally calls my Father. But perhaps the most profound statement of the Sermon on the Mount regarding his personal sense of identity appears in Matthew 7:22, in which he says, On that day many will say to me, Lord, Lord. He does not hesitate to declare that people will address him as Lord, as a divine person. It is little wonder that the words of Jesus astounded the Jews. Not only did he teach in an authoritative manner, but by assuming the prerogatives of God, he was claiming to be God. They were stunned, and we should be too. The problem is that he is not new to us. In the Western world, he's like a piece of familiar furniture. We need to see him with fresh eyes, that we might also be amazed by our wonderful Lord. This concludes our reading today of Turn Your Eyes Upon Jesus.